So recently, some of you guys were asking me about my thoughts on the Packers potentially trading for DeAndre Hopkins, just because in the past couple of weeks, there has been some talk surrounding Hopkins and the Arizona Cardinals, and it looks like he may potentially be available. And so with the Packers and their wide receiver situation, we've talked for years and years about the Packers potentially making a move for some kind of big name receiver. I have been all for it times in the past. It just makes sense. Of course, Brian Gutekunst hasn't typically done anything like that up to this point, and every time it sort of seems like maybe there's a chance, maybe there will be a trade, it never really ends up happening. But I think right now, my answer to this question of should the Packers trade for DeAndre Hopkins, I actually answered it earlier today in my newsletter, which you can check out, link down below. I occasionally post things on there when I feel the desire to write something. But here's my answer. If Aaron Rodgers is playing for the Packers in 2023, I'm all for it. I say take a risk, trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Do we need to do it? No, but I think when you look at the Packers offense, you look at the struggles we had throughout the year last year, I think we'll take some steps forward without any new receivers, but adding an elite receiver like Hopkins could really benefit this Packers team. I see no reason why it wouldn't. Of course, there are some risks here because his cap hit, if he's traded for, will be about $19.5 million in 23, which is huge, and then about $15 million in 2024. So there is some risk, and it would be difficult. The Packers would have to finagle some more salary cap space around to enable DeAndre Hopkins to come here. You also add in the fact when the 2023 season starts, he's going to be 31 years old. And you just never know when a player is going to sort of reach that peak and start to decline, because most players, when they reach around age 30 or so, unless you're a quarterback usually, they start to decline a little bit, which just makes sense. As you play time and time again, you're not going to be as good as you once used to be. And that's just sort of the reality of playing in the NFL. And I don't think Hopkins has reached that level. We saw this past season with the Cardinals. I think he played in 9 games, missed 6 because of his suspension for using PEDs. But he had like 700 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. He still looked elite. And so I do think 2023, he's still going to be a very, very solid receiver. And I think with the Packers, if Rodgers returns, it's sort of like, okay, go all in. I'm fine if you take a risk. I'm fine if you risk some financials for the future. For the now, I have no issue with that. And over the time here with Rodgers these past few seasons, I've honestly every single time been for, okay, why not take a risk? Could it fail? Yes. But at the same time, best case scenario, things could really work out. So that's my thought. If Rodgers is here, sure, take a shot. Why not? Do I think Gutekunst would do that? I think it's pretty close to 0% chance that actually happens. He hasn't shown us that he has wanted to do it in the past, and I see no reason why he would suddenly change that. I think he would more likely find some mid-tier free agent or player receiver to come into Green Bay. I don't think Hopkins would be the guy, even though personally I'd be fine with it. Now, if Jordan Love comes in and starts in 2023, if Aaron Rodgers somehow leaves, if that happens, who knows what will happen there. But then you have a young quarterback, you have lots of young receivers, and I don't think you necessarily need to sort of push the limit in his first season to bring in a guy at that level. Could it help? Of course, having Hopkins would help, but when you add in, as I discussed, the financial situation with DeAndre Hopkins and the cap hit he'll have, I think it could be easier for the Packers to build for the future if they don't bring on such a massive cap hit with Jordan Love. You know, you're going to take some time with Love to develop and grow, and even if he is a somewhat good quarterback in 2023, if he were to start, you would expect growth as the years go by. So I don't think we need to go all in right now, whereas if Rodgers was here, I'm sort of for, okay, take the risk when it comes to the financial situation if you're able to do it, which may not even be possible because of the cap situation. But that is my take on the situation. Feel free to comment yours down below. And as I said, if you want to see my Packers newsletters, whenever I do send them out, feel free to click the link down below, enter your email, and you will get those. The one I did today was the first one in maybe a month or so. So it sort of depends. I fluctuate between wanting to make videos and wanting to write occasionally. So if you want to not miss my writing, you can subscribe there. And anytime I make something or write something, you'll get that. But those are my thoughts on the situation. I would always be curious to hear yours in the comments down below. But that's all I got for this video. I'll see you guys later.